I'm Dylan, and this is the Blindsided Perspective Podcast, where blind and sighted perspectives are given on a number of topics, with my friend Jared as a co-host in a casual style. My life since I went blind at 22, I will tell you about it. Welcome to the Blindsided Perspective Podcast. And just with a little bit of recap, I have an episode 0 which explains how the podcast will work and a summarized short story of why I'm blind. In the future, if people want a longer version of the story in more detail, you guys can request that and I'll eventually do it. But without further ado, we will start the podcast. I am Dylan. And in this episode, Jared will finally be with me. And so, introduce yourself, Jared.
Hey guys, I'm Jared, and I've been friends with Dylan for about 10 years now. We met in 7th, 8th grade, and thank you for having me here, Dylan. It's going to be very fun and prosperous, hopefully.
Yeah, very fun, hopefully. But me and Jared have known each other for about 10 years, so a good long time. So, I mean, if since people can get to know me a little more with episode 0, why don't you explain a little bit about yourself?
Just fun things to know. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm only a white belt with 4 stripes, but at least I'm something. I have a family. There's not really a lot going on right now. So
I mean, he's really busy, so it's really hard to get him over, but we do what we can, and we're aiming to do 2 episodes a week. Not a week, oh God. 2 episodes a week, can you imagine? No, 2 episodes a month is what we're kind of shooting for here. So, with the whole schedule that I'm aiming for, I'm going for every 14th and 28th. So, 2-week differences. That's when I plan on releasing the podcast episodes, so that's when you can kind of expect them. Probably release them between around 5, 6, somewhere in the evening. But yeah, I mean, Jared, also works a really long shifting job. We want to tell him about kind of what you do.
Yeah, I work at Nestle, help them with the coffee mate and the Nesquik and all that, and they treat me very good up there. I love the job. I really do.
What do you what do you do? What are some of the things you have to do?
Well, I know we take in fresh ingredients like sugars. I mess with rail cars. We'll take rail cars in, unload the sugar, put them through filters and whatnot, and make sure the sugar is fine enough to be used. I drive a fork truck, reach truck.
Did you have to get a license for that?
Well, they trained me there, so I don't know. They've never mentioned that I was, certified to go anywhere else with it, but they trained me there, so I'm able to use them there. I just don't necessarily have a certification saying I can do it.
And you work, 12-hour shifts?
Yeah, 12-hour shifts. I work, and I can never for the life of me remember what it's called, but one week I'll work 2 days, the next week I'll work 5 days,
yeah,
and it switches back and forth like that. Like the days I work this week are going to be the days I have off next week, and it just switches like that.
Right, so sometimes you get more days off than others. And then, and also he has a drive, an hour drive from work, so it's a bit much, but.
And on top of that, I have 2 younglings.
Yeah. It at least pays good. Yes, he has children, 2 children.
So even though I don't have much going on, I got the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then I got the work and the family, you'd be surprised how much time that can consume. You really would. I mean,
it's really hard to get him over here to record, but we're gonna do what we can. But so if you listen to episode 0, we're going to start with the first segment in our podcast, which will be Blindsided Stories. And with that, we will have a story that it might be about my blindness, or it might have been when I had sight. It might have been a story Jared has, or one we have together. And I think because with the introduction of Jared, there is no better thing than to tell the story of how we met. So, basically it was on a, we were in school, so we had to go on a bus, and
School bus.
school bus. Do they make those anymore? Am I old? I don't know. But no. Our bus, particularly in the morning, was really packed, and it was in 7th grade, and I got on the bus, and in the first front seat, that was where I had to sit, and I had to sit sandwiched in between two different people. One I didn't really know all that well, but I didn't really care for. It was a girl named Barbie, and then another person who was Jared. Now, Jared, do you want to explain what happened from there?
Well, I'll tell you, from the crisp, cool school morning, I was always the second to last person to be picked up, and by that time, I mean, it was truly ridiculous.
It really was packed.
That they wouldn't send 2 school buses, and they had everyone fit in that bus.
Yeah, we're talking about every seat had 3 people in it.
And we had even though we weren't supposed to, we had people who would act like they're sitting 4 rows just so the bus driver would drive, because he wouldn't move if everyone wasn't sitting. And as soon as he'd start driving, they would just have to, stand up or kind of squat down because there was nowhere to sit. Yeah, it was wild.
It was kind of bad sometimes.
But I remember, that morning, I got on the bus with Barbie, and I'm looking for a seat. And of course, I was new to the school, so I get got punked around a lot, but people didn't care too much for me.
That was he was new, and I didn't know him at all.
So then, luckily, Barbie was my neighbor, and she felt sympathy for me, and she's like, "Hey, she's sitting with Dylan." She's
Jared is by the window, by the way, and I'm in the middle, and Barbie is on the outside.
So she's like, "Oh, we'll let you sit here." So then I'm like, "Friends?" And so Dylan lets me squeeze through, and I end up sitting by the window, and then, well, Dylan, you take it over from here.
Well, I just had to sit in the middle, and I was just, I'm not a bad, mean person, but when you're in 7th and 8th grade, 7th and 8th graders are jerks. So I was a jerk. Also, it was early in the morning. I had to be sandwiched in between 2 people. You be happy about that. But I sit there, and this girl Barbie was like, "You see that kid? You should be friends with him." And through me just being in a cranky mood this morning, I just turned to her with a straight monotone no. And that's all I said. And he was sitting right next to me too, so I'm sure it probably crushed him. But I didn't mean to be mean. But
oh, it's okay. I was just 7th and 8th grade. My big heart shrunk 3 sizes that day. It was pretty. Yeah. After he said no, and I it was kind of embarrassing though when she did that. But I understand she was feeling
trying
very
to help
sympathetic.
You out. I was just the wrong person to do it with at that point.
I have a question for you. If you remember, after you said no, there was an awkward silence. Did you hear my heart breaking?
No, because I was in a bad mood.
Oh, okay.
But but it's really ironic that we ended up being friends. In fact, he's one of the only friends I have left. So that's really ironic considering I said no in the beginning. It's really weird how life works. It's kind of funny.
Yep, I remember that. And that whole bus ride to the school was filled with awkwardness and me not knowing what to do. So I just look out the window.
After that, though, I'm not really sure how we ended up
it's kind of foggy, yeah.
Starting to hang out, how it actually worked. But that's how we first met, but I don't remember. I think I had some other friends, and Jared just kind of squeezed into the group. At first, we didn't want him there. He sat at our table.
I was desperate.
He sat at our table, and we didn't really want him there. But eventually, through his antics and things, he just kind of became one of us. I started
blending in.
And then I just kind of took off from there, and years passed, and it's just really interesting. But
yeah, they didn't want me there, but they tell you if you really want something, you go for it. You don't give up. I kept sitting there every day. I didn't give up.
I don't think you were really trying to be persistent like that, though.
No, you guys were the only table that wouldn't, ask me to get up and go away. Yeah, you just didn't talk to me.
We didn't like you.
That's why.
We didn't.
Hey, it was a seat, man.
We would talk to each other and why is he sitting here?
Yeah, I didn't want to sit alone and have all. Everyone in junior high and high school want the girls, right? So, so on my mind, I'm
everyone's in their own groups,
right? And in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to sit alone. I want girls to think I actually have friends.
By the way, like, our group was not popular by any stretch of the imagination.
I had no idea. I was new.
We were at the bottom of the barrel, so he wasn't. That's why he was able to fit in a sense, because we weren't, much. But that's pretty much how we met, and kind of things go on from there. Do you have anything else that you want to add to this?
There's so much more to the story, but then again, those stories that we have are good enough for other story times. So what we might...
Right. I mean, this one was just for, like, how we met.
Yeah, that was it. And it was the crowded school bus and the negative Dylan and
I was
heartbroken Jared.
I was not negative. I was in a unhappy mood, but because we had to get up at like 6 in the morning and then
it was 7th grade.
Get on the bus at freaking like 7 with cramp. It sucked. But yeah, I mean,
well, that should be good. A good story for today.
And then so now we can move on to the next segment, being
hat pull,
blind hat pull. And just for a little refresher, the blind hat pull is where we have all these topics like numbered with numbers on them on pieces of paper, and then we're going to do 2 topics per episode, and when he pulls out a number, he's going to look on a piece of paper that's numbered, and then whatever number corresponds to like what that topic is, and then we'll do that. So Jared will be pulling these and be telling us which ones we are doing. So Jared, do the honors and pull out of the blind hat.
All right.
You want to let people hear that it's actual hat? It's actually a Mountain Dew hat.
Well, I don't know if they'll be able to hear it's a hat, but you'll be able to hear the ruffles of the paper.
Right. All right. So I wonder what we're going to get.
All right. I pulled...
Like, when he does this, like, we're, like, pretty much not going to know what we're going to be talking about until he pulls them, so it's going to be interesting.
So, the first one is your least favorite food.
Okay, you want to go first on this, or?
Yeah, I can. It's going to take me a second. I love a lot of food. I really do.
I mean, you want me to go first while you think about it?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll have to think about mine.
Okay, well, mine's not going to be very quick, but I don't really have a specific food that I could nail down per se, but I have a food group, and that is vegetables. I hate vegetables. Vegetables, like, between their bad taste to me and texture, I just gag when I try to eat raw vegetables. Typically, it's just like the only ones that I might be able to stand is like maybe lettuce, and even now I have kale, which I don't even really eat. I drink it. I put it in a blender and drink it, but yeah, that's nasty. My least favorite foods are vegetables. I can't really nail down a specific one because I don't eat them because they're nasty. So that's pretty much my like least favorite foods.
Right. If we're able to group it up, then I'll have to say.
I mean, if you can't pin down one, then yeah.
I can't. But anything barbecue, I do not like. I don't like barbecue chips. I don't like barbecue sauce on anything.
Really, like. What is it about barbecue, that sauce, or just barbecue flavor that you don't like? I
don't like the smell or the taste, and I don't know, because I love a lot of food.
Have you always disliked it?
Yeah, I remember the first time I tried barbecue chips, because when we were younger, we really didn't eat barbecue. My brother's in love with everything barbecue.
Right.
And I don't like it, but the first thing I had was barbecue chips, and I thought it was nasty. I didn't like it.
It's very interesting.
I know, and then from there, I tried other barbecue stuff to see if, it tastes, better, and it didn't. It was nasty, and just anything barbecue I don't like. So
like generally,
don't come at me with that.
Like most people, you would hear that they don't like vegetables, but barbecue sauce is an interesting one.
Yeah, I can eat vegetables. I'm fine with that.
That's weird. As for like me with barbecue sauce, I am in the middle. Like I like it every once in a while, but it can be like overbearing. If you have a lot of it, I will get sick of it pretty easy. My girlfriend likes she likes barbecue sauce. Well, not just barbecue sauce, but barbecue flavor in general, barbecue chips. She probably so we have like a 3 kind of spectrum here. I'm in the middle. She really likes it, and Jared doesn't like it. Like, if you eat it, like, does it just, can you actually eat it, or is it just, like, a total, like, I just cannot eat this kind of thing?
Well, if I was starving, I could eat anything, but...
No, I mean, just in general, if someone, like, put it to you, and it's just like, you gotta eat this, Like, would it be like the worst deal in the world? Do you hate it that much?
Yes, it would be the worst.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I could.
I didn't think your hate was that deep for it, but that's interesting.
You see, hate's never a good thing, Dylan, unless it's for barbecue.
If you eat it, does it like make you feel sick or?
It actually can now not just because of the flavor.
Or does it just taste
sick.
that nasty to you?
It really does just taste that nasty to me.
That's interesting.
You see, I like ketchup. I like
ketchup.
Dip every sauce. And the reason I say I think now if it's not, but I think I don't know how you make barbecue sauce, but I think it might have to do with use ketchup.
I think ketchup is in it. Why do you say ketchup?
Ketchup. Oh, everyone gets on me for that. Ketchup. You guys know what I mean.
Hey guys, listen. I'm calling them out for it now because I know other people would be. But I gave you a pass the first time you said. I was like, maybe he just messed up. And then the second time I was like, nope. All right, I gotta call you out.
But you see, I love ketchup and other things that can make it up. But when it's all together and thrown in a pot and stirred, I just can't.
I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about mustard?
I love mustard.
Really? I don't really care for mustard. Like, I can eat it. I've eaten it on hot dogs when we literally had nothing else. But otherwise, I will not go out of my way to eat it. I can tolerate it, but I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
How do you feel about mayonnaise?
Oh, I love mayonnaise. I can eat some mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise. I love tartar sauce. I love ranch. All these other sauces.
I've never had tartar sauce, but I can imagine I wouldn't like it. I'm not a really big fan of ranch either. I don't actually like mayonnaise all that much either. So I'm an interesting person when it comes to. I'm pretty picky on a lot of stuff.
But who knows? Tastes change. So maybe one day I'll try it and think it's the best thing ever. But I doubt that's gonna happen.
Yeah. But all right, I think that's good for the first topic on the blind hat pull. So Jared, would you like to pull? A second hat or a second hat? Yeah, we have hats inside a hat. No.
It's a Pepsi hat.
Shreds of paper.
All right. The second topic is your favorite genre of story. Now that means favorite genre, video game,
like just in any media. It's not
right,
just relegated
right.
to
it could be a
movies.
Book, movie, TV show, video games.
You can go first on this
songs. One. So my favorite would be anything.
Well, I mean. I guess songs is kind of weird because you can't put the same kind of genre like a movie. It's a comedy.
That's a better. I guess I was thinking of stories.
I guess you can. But
there's not a lot of there's songs that don't have stories too. So we'll leave songs out of it. But,
okay, that's fine.
But my favorite genre would have to be sci-fi adventure because I love.
But yeah,
love
basically
everything.
Media you can watch and stuff like that.
Right. I love everything superhero or superpowers. Whether it's a movie about a guy with he's a villain, has superpowers, kills everyone. I would like that. Or a superhero that saves everyone. I'd like that. So DC,
right.
Marvel, all that stuff. I'm in love with. Video games.
Sierra likes that superhero stuff too.
Like video games, like Prototype, Infamous, which I beat both of those.
I think it's called Infamous.
Infamous, catch up.
Oh my god.
Infamous. I'm actually playing number 2 right now again for the 50th time.
I'm pretty sure I actually gave you that the copy
you did,
of it.
The same one.
Yeah, I ended up buying a PS3 several years ago. It's the newest. I say newest, right? But newest version at that point in time. And it was a 500 gigabytes, and I had never played the first one, and I didn't care about it. So I was like, "Here, Jared, Merry Christmas."
And you know what? You changed my life that day, Dylan.
Well, that's
I was
cool.
a very happy camper. So yeah, anything superpower, superhuman, science fiction adventures is really my favorite. So how do you feel?
Honestly, I'm a weird person because I don't watch a lot of movies. I've watched very few movies in my day, but I mainly watch comedy, Comedy Central, stand-up comedy acts. So I really like those, and I watch a lot of anime. And in terms of genres for anime, I like the superpower, supernatural, action series, but I also like some that have some comedy and romance sprinkled into a little bit.
Sprinkled. I like that term.
But other genres too are cool, but in most cases I don't really care for sci-fi and space. Those ones I don't really particularly care about, or mech for that matter. But there's exceptions to rules. There's certain shows that can make me like them. So it really just depends, but that's mainly what I like. And the sadness. As people should know, I did used to play video games before I lost my sight. And I loved playing RPGs and JRPGs. Like if you had to grind and just grinding damage, like getting money. Like I just loved doing it. I don't know, it was like relaxing. And I also liked like racing games, like certain racing games, and I like some fighting games as well. So just a variety. It really depends, and even some puzzle games, interestingly. But yeah, so that's kind of the genres and stuff I like for different media, I guess. You have anything else you want to add to this?
Oh, no, I don't want to give away too much. We still need some material for later episodes, so...
Okay, so next on the agenda here is the blind question.
So, I have the question ready for you when you're ready.
Okay, so basically, with the blind question, I have to say that for now, we're going to come up with our own for this episode, but hopefully if people end up watching, here's how you can send in your own blind question to me if you have one. Now, also keep in mind, you could ask a sighted question too, because I used to have sight, and my throat is dying, but ignore that. Hopefully it can continue on. But the email, basically, you can send it to our email. The email is tbspp@yahoo.com, and it's all lowercase, so we didn't do any capitals. Send that in and send in the subject BQ or blind question, and if you would like us to, read your name, like put your name in the message area where you're going to put your blind question, and then that'll tell us that you want us to read your name like Mike asked. But if you don't put any name in there, then we're just going to assume you want to stay anonymous. So that's how you do that. So again, the email is tbspp@yahoo.com. All lowercase. And fun fact, yes, our name, the Blindsided Perspective, if you put it into acronyms, it does spell tablespoon, which is really funny. But anyway, I digress. So Jared, what is our first blind question?
So, the first blind question, tablespoonp@yahoo.com, is what do you take most for granted now that you're blind? What's something that really affects you that you're not able to do now that you don't have sight? What do you miss the most?
It's really hard to pin.
Besides seeing, but if you had to pick one thing.
I can't really pick one thing, but I will tell you a couple things that you just take for granted that you don't really think about. So think about it. If you want to get up and go outside and take a walk around the block, you can do that. You can just get up and do that. Me, I can't do that. I have not learned to use a cane, and my area does not have sidewalks even if I learn to use a cane. So it's a little weird. I can't just go out and take a walk. I lost that freedom, and it's really something you take for granted. You don't understand, you can just get up and walk, and it's second nature to you. But when you can't do it, it's really hard, or just a lot of other things you can't just straight up do. If someone points to something, you can't just understand immediately what they're pointing at. You won't even know that they're pointing. But other than that, just other stuff, being able to play video games, being able to just be more independent, being able to see things, not needing people's help as much, just feeling depressed and feeling not as adequate, having low self-esteem from it. It really just hits you really hard, and there's just a lot of things that people would take for granted. You just wake up every day and can see, but just think about it. If you just woke up one day and you couldn't see, you would realize in a really quick way that it's a major deal. It majorly changes everything. That you won't have to think about a lot of things when you have sight, but you have to think about these things when you are blind, things you wouldn't normally think about. But so it's just don't, the message is don't take things for granted. Go out there, use what you got, be happy with it, because some of us can't. So just be grateful for everything that you have, and don't take it for granted. That is my message, and that is one thing that I have learned.
Yeah, that's pretty deep. Do you want to throw in a bonus question? You may have explained this in episode 0, but just in case, would you be willing to answer one more?
What is it?
How long have you been blind officially?
I think I kind of explained it, but I can't really. It's really kind of fuzzy to kind of remember because of a lot of stuff I went through that I didn't actually mention. But the thing I remember is I had my retina surgery to try to fix it December 6th, 2017, and at that point, that's when I kind of say that I was blind because I couldn't see at that point. I don't remember if I could see prior to that. I might have been able to, and I might have not. I can't really remember. So I just say for the fact that I know for a fact that I couldn't see when I went and had the surgery. So that's when I kind of say it. So let's see, that was December, and then we're about to be in November. So it's been about a year.
So if anyone,
it's been 11 months, I think.
If anyone, just to fill the audience in, is skeptical, like how could you not remember if you were blind or not? I just want to throw in there, Dylan's always had bad eyesight. Things have always been grayer to him. So
yeah, well, I wouldn't say grayer, but I have always I have always had bad eyesight. I've always been visually impaired my whole entire life, and it just ended up getting worse, and I just eventually went blind. And another thing I would like to say is, I know some people might be skeptical that I'm not blind. There's nothing I can really possibly do to show people that I'm actually blind. You're just gonna have to take my word on it and trust me. I really am, and it's really hard going from not being able to see. I mean, again, it was still hard for me because I still had bad eyesight, so I didn't ever have good eyesight. So, but just bear with me. Hopefully, people can trust my word that I'm not lying about this. I just want to spread a little bit of awareness about blindness and also have fun while doing it at the same time. That's kind of the purpose of the podcast for the most part, but it's not completely about blindness, but I just wanted to kind of get that out there because I know that's something that's going to come up. But
yeah, we've already thought ahead. I mean, we have.
But yeah, so that has pretty much been it for this podcast, unless you have anything to add, Jared.
No, that was it.
Okay, so
got some bonus material in there.
Bonus material, yeah. I mean, Jared, the man of the people. But that pretty much has been it. Again, if you want to send your questions in, go to tbspp@yahoo.com, lowercase. Put in the subject BQ or blind question, and put your name in the message so I know he knows to read it out because he'll be the one reading it. And that's pretty much it. So thank you all for watching, or listening, I guess in this case. This has been the Blindsided Perspective Podcast. I've been Dylan.
And I've been Jared.
And we will see you in the next episode.
Adios.